surprised today morning when I looked at the Economic Times newspaper. I was just glancing through that, and one of the articles just caught my eye. Very interesting one. I never knew that some of the fintechs, they were up ahead in the curve with respect to the number of subscribers that they have for the equity traders, especially in the retail side. Almost as high as 3 to 4x of a bank. That was a kind of a eye opener for me. And that is what is the strength, what technology brings on the table in terms of the reach, in terms of the comfort, customer connect, and the evolution and growth. So here we are, as I share my perspective, some of the key imperatives that NBFCs are looking at from a business function wise to have their reach, growth, customer centricity, building trust, improvisations in the process, innovating products. These are some of the key identifiers from a business function, board, and the C-level. And technology was known to be just a disruptor a few years ago. We always heard digital transformation. We heard about technology being a disruptor. But technology is not just a disruptor anymore. It is not just an enabler. It has become a part of life. It has become a business function in itself. Whereas technology is helping lending, technology is helping customer acquisitions, analytics, credit rating and all that stuff. All that you do today is kind of fulfilled by, and is sort of technology is replacing that. And even those organizations, those NBFCs who've been on the forefront from a traditional brick and mortar setup way back are now sort of evolving onto the next level in terms of how they want to transform their business function by virtue of using the technology. Some of the tech levers that I would like to call out here that are enabling this in terms of bridging the divide and in terms of enabling customer experience. If you look at analytics is playing a huge amount of role in primarily, in terms of data analytics, in terms of ensuring that there is a customer check verification is happening. There is mobile and web-based applications which are helping, growth leaps and bounds. And then, of course, you have your new features which are enabling, like your key functional in terms of the KYC. Very recently, there has been a RBI mandate in terms of enhancing and using UDI. UDI guidance is there in terms of enabling a digital e-verification process. And we've been talking to many NBFCs in terms of what is their roadmap with respect to that, how do they want to launch that service and product into the market. So this is with respect to the enhancement of customer experience. If you look at building trust, again in terms of building trust, if I am a customer and if I kind of put my request to you for getting some loans, my expectation would be how quickly and on the spot my request gets approved. How is that getting enabled today in the space with NBFC? If you look at some of the enablers, secured environment, somebody spoke in the panel about enhancement of the network, the next generation network enabling lending and scale. That is the classic example where technology brings the change. And with respect to leveraging application programming interface, you have tie-ups with fintechs as old traditional NBFCs. You're partnering together, you have partnerships with the bank. It's all coming together in such a way with the help of the secure technology, secure network. And then of course self-service platforms and portal. I as a consumer can just go and log in and all that. So these are some of the things which are the core focus and strategy that you're looking at today in terms of from the key imperatives of NBFC. On top of that, you're enhancing continuously your operational excellency in terms of how you reform, transform your existing process. So for example, automating your workflows, in terms of leveraging capability using RPA, for example, in terms of credit risk analysis, fraud detection and stuff like that. On-demand and affordable tools are there on the cloud today to sort of help customer, improvisation of your process. Because the more the delay, customers can always look at alternate provider. And likewise, product innovation and process innovation. So integrated platforms, you're scaling it up, you're having a customer video connect platform for a KYC and cloud native applications. Everything that you do today comes in a package, comes in a bundle. Either you're consuming it as a service, which is software as a service to enhance your reach and customer experience and get the business grade grow, or you're looking at certain platforms in the cloud. So NBFCs will have to look at various platforms in terms of hybrid in nature that will add value to the business. So for example, what do we mean by that? Many customers that we are talking today, the traditional NBFCs, of course, fintechs are ahead of the curve and they have always got a cloud first strategy. But we are talking about the approach in terms of hybrid. We are hearing from customers that they have a cloud first strategy. And what does it mean to have that? Traditionally when they are running their operations, their complete scale, the business processes, they are running on their data centers, either on the co-located party or with their on-premise. The challenges that we hear from customers about visibility of what they have. The customers, they don't know sometimes, what sort of assets are there, how is the longevity of assets that they're running. And therefore, there is a need for assessment, there's a need for discovery, there's a need for a foolproof migration when you're looking for infrastructure, when you're looking for a cloud migration. So that's where the first building block of cloud first strategy comes into the picture. Then we are talking about the operational effectiveness. You need to have tools and capabilities to effectively monitor your applications, key processes, in terms of monitoring your assets, monitoring your infrastructure and stuff like that. So the important aspect is to enhance process, reduce the time to respond. If there is some glitch, if there's no access, suppose, I try to access your portal and there's a portal outage, I would maybe not return to that portal. That's the kind of, millisecond or a second kind of a response time that is expected when I'm trying to browse something online, right? When I'm trying to access your web platforms. And that is where operational effectiveness enhancement is very important. Then we are talking about network. Today in a network, we all understand broadbands and internets and stuff like that. But what has happened today is there is a next gen internet, there's a network transformation which is going on, and therefore network is the single biggest media to access anything which is on the hosted platforms, which is on the cloud. And all your business today is all happening on the cloud, and that is why so much as NBFCs and fintech combined are carrying and taking the lead in the financial inclusion. Rural, you're lending to rural entities, you're lending to individuals in remote villages or in tier 3, tier 4 cities. Why is that possible is today because you're trying to enhance your overall, you're trying to upscale your business position by virtue of running it on top of the technology. The next is security. Just about 20 days back, there is a guideline from RBI about technology outsourcing. It has a very concerted article and a point of view mentioned around the cloud infrastructure. It has a point around cybersecurity, how and why, how you should look at tightening controls around cybersecurity and mitigate threats. When you are on the cloud, when you are on the infrastructure, it is bound to have some sort of you need to put a safety net, a safety cordon when you're looking at infrastructure, hosted infrastructure on the cloud. And of course, along with security comes compliance, and none of us are today, averse to that. We are absolutely in the hands of the regulator. So you have to comply with regulatory compliance. You also need to comply with the regional compliances, right? And therefore, you need to look at a strategy wherein there is a consistent audit, there is transparency, your reporting has to be transparent. And how all this is possible is through an approach wherein it is facilitated by the use of various tools and technology, by a service provider who can actually help you with certain audit trails. Whenever you need the report, you should have access to it. When you want to present it to the board, you want to present it to the regulator, it should be in a single click. All that is possible when you're leading with technology, right? And then of course the last and the most interesting is the new service integration. I spoke to about accessing the UDI data vault. That's a very new thing. We are talking about modernization. Some of the customers are talking about changing their application landscape in terms of the code, in terms of how they want to re-architect their application. So there is a need for development, DevOps and modernization aspect. There's microservices integration when you look at various tools and technology. So these are some of the things which are facilitated through this hybrid and multi-cloud option. So for those who want to understand how a typical structure looks like from a digital estate, today you've been used to having this kind of a model wherein you're operating from your corporate offices, you have your data centers, and then you are looking for a approach when you want to move to cloud, right? And these are some of the placeholders that we have put in place, that there is a ISO financial cloud, which is compliant to the RBI and SEBI, right? And then we are talking about public cloud with presence, because some of you might be in the journey or have already adopted bits and portion of a bit of public cloud, may not be core systems. And then of course there is a need for a disaster recovery. There is a definitive plan that you need to have for a BCP side, because today you cannot afford downtime, you cannot afford data leak, and the data has to be always available. For those customers, those NBFCs who do not have this kind of an environment, it's very imperative, and there is a guideline for a BCP plan. In fact, that's there in the RBI circular which has come. And all this is possible by putting a fundamental layer of orchestration, overall management monitoring tool capability, which is secured, compliant, and hybrid. And therefore, what do you get? What do you get is a significant stability in your business function operation, uptimes. We are talking about the various tools integration. We are talking about security. We are talking about, various tools and technology around your modernization of apps like Kubernetes and container platform. We are talking about management of the platform, because you need to have reliable hands to manage these platforms, because these are too much and a too complex environment. Therefore, Tata Communication is your choice of partner. What does Tatacom do? If you see here, we have the corporate profile here with about presence, and I'm not going to go too much on that, but you could just read through some of the facts and figures in terms of our presence. Most important thing that I want to talk about is our cloud services overview, what we've been doing in the market. So if you follow me through there, 650 plus active customers, 300 plus managed services engagement, 200 plus migrations from on-premise applications, and then of course the Oracle, SAP, HANA, those are some of the critical core systems which are running your business functions and business logic. They're all intertwined together. That's the kind of expertise Tata Communications have in terms of running services, with proficiency both on public cloud as well as Tata Communications' own ISO financial cloud, which is compliant to the regulation. Some of these partnerships are mentioned here: AWS, Google, and Microsoft Azure. Of course, SAP, HANA data centers are certified for that, and some of the key regulations to which we are compliant. We are empaneled with MITRE and all that as well. This is the voice of the customer, some of the benefits that they've got moving from traditional service adoption to moving into the agile platform. This is a service stack. It's a little busy slide, but I would like to highlight your attention from the bottom up. Bottom up is our core, where the platforms integrations, the network integration happen, and on top of there, as you move up, these are some of the services that get intertwined. Now, this could be service which come together, or this could be a stack out of which you can extract some of this portion, because I was talking to one of the financial customers, and they said we don't have a proper backup. We don't have a data, where we can retrieve the data on time. So can you provide a real-time backup solution? We were talking to another customer who's a captive finance customer and into automotive sector, and they said we need you to size storage for about 18 years, because that's the need for us to store the data for about 18 years. And therefore we went into architecting and understanding what is the requirement for them to size. And with the cloud, the good news is you get everything on demand. Traditional systems, you buy systems, put the hardware in, and then you start grappling with the the utilization and the sizing and other things. But these are some of the advantages. So I'm not going to go deep into each and every aspect, but I'm just sharing some of the industry use cases wherein you can pick it up and you can look at what tools and technologies that you may want to pick up. You should also understand that when you're relying on a service provider of choice, don't just look at one who can manage your platform, but also who is able to securely provide a service wrap around it. So Tata Communication is also a managed security service provider. We are serving the regulators, we are serving the enterprises, we are serving the government entities with our entire cloud and security portfolio, like your security operations center, cloud operations centers, and that's the way, the value that we bring on the table as a valued partner to our customers. Not just on the network, but also on the critical systems like your cloud and security. As I move on to my last slide, this is the way Tata Communication can help. We can look at integrating all of these things together to bring you a comprehensive, unified solution. We can talk about innovation, because cloud and infrastructure technology, when it gets embedded as a part of your business function, is it's just not a destination. It is an onward journey. And in cloud and in technology, some of the, my customers and friends sitting here are from fintech. So those who are not, they can talk to fintech entities, because they need to constantly evolve their technology platform. And that is where you need a partner of choice who can help you and keep up pace as you grow. And this is the phase when India is growing. This is the phase wherein, there is so much support coming in from all aspects, and India is going to emerge as a North Star. But the question is, are you ready? Are you investing in right technology and platform? And this is where Tata Communication value can come in terms of robust, secure, compliant service. Competency, we enable your competency to compete with other partners, other vendors and competitors, and more importantly, to enable regional and regulatory compliances, and also provide a cost optimized solution to you. We constantly look at optimization schemes so that your investments are protected on the cloud. Some of you may say that, look, cloud is expensive, but we are there to look at it in terms of analyzing where you're spending, helping you predict your spend, helping you secure your environment and infrastructure as well. So on that note, I just wanted to conclude my talk. Thank you for your patient hearing. I have just one request. You can scan this QR code. It is also there on your desks, wherein you can do a cloud assessment in just about 5 to 7 minutes, how ready you are, how, what is the way you can look at moving from wherever you are to the next phase of cloud. Thank you so much.